Hey everyone, Jeff Lobb, Spark Tank Media, and also the founder and creator of Coach 52. Heading today to a Keller Williams Mastermind with our loan officer from Family First Funding, Patrick Keelan. We've got a good group of producers today. We're going to be strategizing on more streams of lead sources, more streams of people, and we're going to be putting together a strategy for them to go out and generate 20, 30, 40% more business on top of what they're doing now. So it's our mastermind set up today, heading up to New York to do it. Looking forward to always helping people level up their business. Three biggest mistakes, online leads. Well, first off, I would say, let's start talking about the phone call, the online lead that comes in on the phone. And whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, the biggest challenge we're seeing, and this isn't necessarily even coming from my experience, it's coming from listening to recordings of agents day in and day out and also coaching them. The number one thing is they're unprepared for the call when it comes in, meaning we're listening to people say, take a step back. When the consumer calls in, they think they're talking to the exact person that handles that listing. So the problem is when the call's taken, the agent is kind of off guard a little bit. They don't know the property because most of the time it's not the property that is their listing. So in all fairness, it's probably not in their wheelhouse to know what all the details are. However, the consumer doesn't know that. And they're asking questions. They're asking more questions to the consumer to tell them about the property than someone acting confident about knowing the property. So way to correct that, what we're trying to do is two things. Have your data available, meaning if you're going to be taking inbound calls, have a device, an iPad, something with you that when someone says, hey, I'm calling about 1522 Main Street, you're like, oh, is that the one in Hoboken or the one in Jersey City? Yeah, it's a great area. Let me pull up the data for you. Hold on real quick. I'll get you the information. Act like you know it. You have to be on top of it. And you got to start to reassure them that you're the person and the right person to be talking to. Way too many times we're hearing can I call you back? I'll look it up for you. And meanwhile, it sounds like you know nothing. When they hang up, they're calling somebody else. That's what's going to happen. So it's the lack of confidence, the lack of knowledge, or the lack of ability to get that information and give them the confidence that you're the right person. So that's the first problem. Second problem is the consumer itself wants to know that you're the right person that's going to handle their transaction. So really, they don't know who they're talking to at the other end. So besides knowing the information and the data, the number two thing you need to do is get the appointment. While you give them the information, you're going to give them that information about that property. 95% of the time, they never buy that property. However, it's hard to sell yourself as a real estate professional over the phone. It's hard. And they've probably been on the phone with 10 others already. So your goal is get the value of that property they want to see, talk it up, get them in there and set the appointment. When you have the appointment is most likely when you do your best work. It's when you get a chance to build rapport and ask questions and do all of that. Because the third problem that ties into this is many times we ask questions to that consumer like it's an interrogation. There's a few strategic questions you should ask, but interrogation usually doesn't fly. That's the third problem. So what I would recommend is if you ask them a few solid questions like, have you looked at a few other homes before? Something soft and that makes sense. You start asking about their finances, and I know a lot of you don't want to show a home unless they're pre-approved. I got it. But even if they say they're pre-approved, you still don't even know if they're pre-approved. Sometimes, in today's world, consumers don't want to feel that threat. So many times you might have to suck it up, show them the one property to get the meeting, and then build rapport and ask the right questions. Because even if they're not pre-approved properly, you now have the opportunity to sell them on. Maybe a few of your loan officers can help them better understand their financing. So that's how I would feel. If you interrogated me, I probably would not want to meet with you. So I think you need to ask a few effective questions, which would be, have they looked at a few other homes before? Are they working with another real estate agent? Just to understand that, that angle of what they're looking for, and maybe look to set the meeting on when they're available to see it. Do your best selling in person. So those are my top three probably biggest mistakes. A few tips to kind of correct them, and it takes practice. So know your data, know your market, give the consumer confidence that you're the right person. Support and encourage what they're looking to do. Don't interrogate them, and set the appointment to go build rapport with them. At that point, you might have a better chance of converting them into a real transaction. So there you go. if you look at any of the wealthiest people in the world, they're going to tell you the same thing. And the books have been written about it. You've probably even read some of those books. That to build wealth, you're going to need a few things. Multiple streams of income. There's books that are titled just that, multiple streams of income. I have 7 streams specifically, and I'm going to explain all that in real deep detail. I'm going to explain the definition of them. I even use some really good visuals to show you the difference of what a stream is. And I really would love for you guys to do the exercise, those watching those here, to write down the streams as I identify them, and I'm going to give you the definitions. First, let's identify the problem. Here's our typical sales process. We've got peaks and valleys. Some of our valleys are deeper than others, right? You have a couple closings, and you got nothing for 2 or 3 months. Or you have one closing and nothing for a while. Sometimes they come in spurts. Sometimes you thought you had 3, but now you have 1. One thing we have to leverage is when you do have a transaction on the board and it's in contract, we have to leverage it to the extreme. When I say leverage it, meaning with today's market shifting to tight inventory, the inventory itself is very limited. So when I do get that listing, we were talking about it earlier, maybe we stretch out a coming soon before it gets there to generate good activity and maybe get more opportunities for that homeowner. Maybe we're still holding the open house, even though we know it's going to sell very quickly, we're leveraging it to generate more activity for open house and for advertising. Maybe it helps get your name and face out there and your brand out there more than you thought. See, if a home just comes on the market, it's going to sell in a week. It's not a terrible thing. However, sometimes we just get it and get it done and move on. We may not have a listing for another while. If we can get that one listing in place, my job would be, hey, how do I get branding and marketing to get my name and face out there all off that one listing? How do I get more signs on the ground so people see me driving by? To me, I would exploit the one listing from a marketing standpoint. I'd have ads running. I hand out 2 or 3 business cards. That's cool, except it's not, you're missing the one part. Here's the magic to it. If I just gave them 3, they'll take it and stick the 3 in their pocket or their purse. It's the psychology of it by saying, hey, listen, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 of my business cards. One is for you to keep for in your purse. The other 2 I would love for you to give out to other people looking to buy or sell real estate. I'm planting it in your brain what I want you to do with it. I would love for you to give out those 2 cards to someone looking to buy or sell. That goes into your subconscious mind. You're already aware of it. I'm telling you how I want you to handle it. So it's a simple little strategy versus me just giving you 3 cards and they go in the pocket, go, oh, cool, thanks. No, I'm telling you what I want you to do. I'll share with you my 7 streams that I had. They may not be yours, and I don't want them to be yours, but I want you to think about, as I identify them, what streams you have. So if I invest my time and I get 1 or 2 good referrals and I turn it into a transaction, great. How do I do more of that? Social media. That evolved. That's when it was kind of born. And that became another source, because that gave me the outreach of people that I was never able to have that outreach, and you guys know that, the reach of social, right? In the beginning, it was not a stream. I had to make it a stream eventually by connecting people from school and other people I used to work with in the past.
I play competitive softball, but when I look back at what that business is, these people, it's a name-branded, team that ultimately is coming through.
Your softball group could be an amazing stream, right? I mean, they like you, trust you, you hang out together. I mean, anybody has a real estate or mortgage question, it's what if? So what if I could take that B&I stream for you, and what if I could find another group like that gave you that kind of business? Like, hey, if they gave me 1 or 2 leads maybe a month, what if I had another group that gave me 1 or 2 leads a month? Or a third or a fourth? Well, that'd make me a little busier. Most of the people I do coaching with, sometimes they start off small. They're doing 2 or 3 transactions a month. Some are doing 1 a month. Some are doing 50 a month. It doesn't matter. If I'm doing 1 or 2 transactions a month and I picked up 1 or 2 more, I just doubled my business. How does that change what you do with your life and what you do with your family? I hate to say it, but divorce is a tremendous amount of business because it's now I got to sell this house and help these 2 people go find a new place to live. Those are life events that happen. Death, birth, all of that stuff creates. However, if we just paid attention to social media, what do most people talk about? Life events. So I'm not saying it's like you start harassing people like, hey, your kid graduated, you want to list your house, but it might be a good time you stay pretty close to them and be staying in conversation with them or congratulating on them and maybe messaging if you ever help, let me know, that kind of stuff because they're talking about it. So it wasn't built to be like a lead source. It was built to connect more people. So you're going to be one of the business owners in Middletown. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. When I say, where are they? Meaning those people that live in those towns. To me, if I can't get to them at their door, I say to myself, okay, where do they go get their coffee? Where do they eat lunch? Because I learned this. I could go knock on doors for a living, and I did years ago. Just, it's all we had, right? And it works. People eventually would talk to you. Then I said, well, how do I get smarter about this? So I said, well, what if I could talk to business owners? Like the people, like all of these people that live in this area that I want to market to, they go into this person's shop for lunch every day. They go into this person's coffee shop for breakfast every day. So if I could meet the business owners, they know a lot more people than I do. So I leveraged it as bringing value first to the business owner. So hi Robin, my name's Jeff Lobb. Good, I work with KW here in town. We created an awesome Facebook site just recently called The Best of Middletown. And I'm highlighting all of the best places to eat, shop, for all of my real estate clients to kind of push business to you guys. They always want to ask me, where should I go eat? You guys have been doing a great job for so many years. I would love to highlight your pizzeria, I'm prospecting, right? This is prospecting at its best. I mean, this is me giving a value. Now, realistically, what truly happened on the very first time I did this, it was a younger gentleman, because I was just role-playing myself through this. He actually looked at me and goes, that's awesome, but what's it going to cost? How much? Like, no, and my answer just spit out of my face. I don't even know how I came up with it, but it just sounded great. I'm like, no, this doesn't cost any money. I sell a lot of real estate in town, and my job is to help my clients do the very best. So I just want to be able to give them some of the best businesses here. So I just do this to help highlight you guys to my awesome audience of real estate clients. So no, this costs nothing. I just want to help you guys. If I can
take it.
Yeah. Now, I didn't go in asking, hey, you got to put my business cards on your counter. I didn't start saying you got to pin this stuff on the board. I didn't ask you for anything. Remember, if we give value first, give value and help first, I might earn your business, right? Very similar to what we're doing here today, let's be honest. I'm here hopefully giving value to you guys in hopes that maybe we earn some business down the road from Patrick, right? It's not like we're asking, but if I can give value, right? So you're giving value first. So if I did that, not just with pizza, not restaurants, think about where else do the people that live in that area go? So where do the kids go? Karate studio, dance schools, beauty shops. Could any good business owner use the promotion? Now here's what has to happen. I'm using a business page that still costs me nothing. I make it a best of, because when I say we created a best of Middletown page, I want to highlight you. To me, I'm elevating you. I'm also the local expert, as far as I'm concerned. I'm highlighting you. I want to be perceived as that. Secondly, I'm giving you value. But what I want you to do is, after we do this, it could be a photo. If you're intimidated, do a photo. And then we make a cool post. I would love to do a little video, and it doesn't have to be fancy with video cameras. It could easily just be, set this bad boy up like this, or we can even have fun and be like, let's do a selfie together. But the goal is understanding, like, what else do you do? Like, oh, I've had your cannolis, or, dance studio, you guys open just on weekends. Becoming that resource. Now, when you become that resource, what I want you to also do is, the post that I make, take it and share it with your audience. Because you have a page too, I'm sure that you can always use more business. And if it's something that's really validating you, it now becomes a testimonial for you to share. Now, my brand is getting shared to your audience, right? So it costs me nothing. It's prospecting. Here's the beauty of this. People say, Jeff, if you start in real estate, what would you start doing? I can do that anywhere. I know nobody in Middletown. If I move my license to New York, or I got my license here in New York and I started tomorrow, I can create the page tomorrow and start knocking on doors now. So why couldn't I do it with everybody? And I just have to keep thinking streams now. What groups of businesses could I help promote themselves and offer value to my potential audience, and or just at least get some good press out there for them? I will share with you that I just launched a coaching platform for more of an agent/brokerage. Really, agents can sign up individually. It's called Coach 52. That is more production-based stuff where we're tracking your goals, and every week you're getting a video by me teaching you how to level up your production. That is a really affordable platform, like less than $400 a year. You have access to everything I do 52 weeks every year, being coached by me. So that's something we just launched in addition to the training you get with Patrick. So if that's something you want to participate in, let me know. All right, that being said, as always, thank you. Thank you for your time. I know you got to run, but hopefully you got a few great ideas today. Thank you, guys.